Hi, I'm Johnny. This is Comics Altruism, and this is a much overdue video just kind of summing up everything that I've collected well before all of this COVID stuff happened. So, first off, this is a contest win from Stay Puft 1983, and I told him that I was going to release a video very shortly after I received that. Yeah, this is finally happening. So as you can see, he packs things very well, and he took a page out of Bake the Snake's book here. So he's got those hardwood packing front and back. So I got Dazzler number 1, Old Guard number 1. I got Anyway, I'll just keep talking. I was delayed severely by this whole COVID thing, and what I don't think I've told anybody yet is that I actually work in long-term care. So while I haven't worked a ton of overtime yet, I'm expecting that to happen anytime now. And I have been expecting that for about a month, which is why you haven't seen a lot from me in the last 3 weeks or so. Yeah, so that's the end of Stay Puft's prize that he sent me. This is several weeks ago. I'm really looking forward to reading that trade paperback there. Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters. Alright, so then this is just basically like a huge haul video of everything, and I'm just going to talk over it. So the way that it works with any kind of viral outbreak that we have at the home, I always expect that I'm going to be pulled away from my day-to-day life, not to stay there, but, working 12-hour shifts or working on my days off. And my days off really are my time to do the whole comics altruism thing. So I have to kind of treat it as though I'm not going to have that opportunity, and therefore I haven't picked a charity of the month for April, and I probably won't for May as well. There has been talk about going into 12-hour shifts moving forward, but that's not confirmed yet. That was just talk between employees, because that's what they did in the distant past, long before I was employed there, during flu outbreaks, because flu is much more deadly than this COVID. At least currently, I guess we'll see just how widespread it becomes. Obviously, it's a huge deal in the United States right now. Canada is keeping it relatively under control. And then we also have those government policies that have come into place where they're doling out money to people in the form of, EI we pay for in advance. So we've paid for that. That's ours. But the government is almost like their welfare program, but obviously now it's in full effect because most businesses have closed at this point, much like in the United States. But anyway, we have 2 confirmed cases. Oh, this is sweet. Ms. Marvel number 19. You wouldn't believe what I paid for that. It's just ridiculous. Solid copy, too. I was floored. But anyway, yeah, if we do go into 12-hour shifts, that takes away even more of my possible time for selling comics and donating to charity and everything. So that's just basically suspended, and this 3-video series might be the last you see from me for a while if we do go into outbreak, because we have 2 confirmed cases. They're both employees, luckily, because you can send an employee home, but if it's a resident, that is their home. So worst case scenario, we would have to isolate anybody who was confirmed, and then basically the only people they would get to see are masked, full PPE PSWs and dietary aides who just come to drop stuff off and check up on them. And that kind of isolation, you can imagine the sort of psychological damage that would do, because a lot of you are going through that right now. And it's not a pleasant situation to be in, especially if you're elderly and you really do need that kind of social contact. We're doing great, though, at the home. Everybody's really stepped it up in the way of employees really bringing their A game to the whole thing and understanding, and the communication is getting a lot better about how we're handling everything. Protocol shifts anytime that there's a huge outbreak of any kind, and especially something like this that affects the entirety of society and economy, which is another reason I'm not selling comic books currently, is because it's going to be a while before everything stabilizes. And while it might not seem like it yet, because people still have savings to fall back on, and there are those government policies that are coming into place, it's probably not the best time to be spending tons of money on comic books when it might eventually become essential to keep that money for food, for bills, if that kind of stuff isn't suspended wherever you live. So it's basically for the better good that I just don't sell anything. If you can't tell yet, I'm doing the next 3 videos, this one included, with, I originally filmed them, and now I'm just overdubbing so that I can fit as much information in as little time as possible to not waste as much of your time. And another thing that might happen, and this is really is a worst case scenario in the whole situation, is that if we find that those 2 employees spread it to a bunch of residents, then I might have to end up proposing at this meeting that I'm having today that we somehow make a ward specific or a floor specific to confirmed infections. And in that case, anybody who works on that floor, again, worst case scenario, might have to utilize public hotels. And again, there are some hotels that are basically renting out free rooms so that people don't have to go home and potentially spread what they picked up at work to their loved ones at home. So in this case, my wife is basically stuck at home indefinitely. So that's another reason, is that any time that I would like to spend with her, because inevitably, like most of you, going a little stir crazy, getting kind of bored. So I have to really devote my time to her more than anything. Not that I'm throwing her under the bus for why I haven't been doing the comics altruism thing, but I think you understand. And in these times, even though we've got it under control at the home I'm working in, people are still spreading it throughout the community. And so, if I have to go into quarantine, then I'll have lots of time to talk to everybody. But until then, it's all hands on deck, and I kind of have to treat it as though that's my top priority. But yeah, that is the Marvel section of my huge haul video from the Before Times, as Kumail Nanjiani calls it. And look forward to, within the next couple of days, seeing the DC section of the tons of stuff that I accumulated that I haven't shown you yet. And next time, my voiceover will be basically a year in review of everything that we earned in the 11 months. Unfortunately, the 12th month, I have no idea when that's going to happen. But yeah, next time will be a whole bunch of shout outs and basically showing you everything that we earned throughout the last year. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.